Part 182. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1814. They move together, completely trusting each other when attacking and defending. In other words, they trust the person who invented and created this joint trick, Jia Yan. There were so many miracles that had occurred through previous joint efforts, and there was also the process of Jia Yan's team defeating the strong men at the top of the stars. For them, the effect of joining forces was extremely trustworthy. Boom! In the starry sky, when this group of beings and the enemy's will army collided completely, an astonishing explosion of light erupted. In an instant, the endless explosion of light blew away the nearby warships and other powerful men one by one. A stellar battle is so terrifying. It's scary, get away from here quickly. It is indeed a war between stars. They said that stars are the real factors that control this war. This is indeed the case. It seems that our coalition is definitely going to win. Their Orion arm only has so many star-level beings on the field. They can't even compare to a fraction of ours, haha. The soldiers of the Orion arm were still yelling at us just now, but now they seem to have seen that their star level is weakening and are starting to retreat. It just so happens that if their star level experts die, we will have a great victory. On the battlefield, whether it is the soldiers of the Orion arm or the coalition soldiers, they have different views on the stellar war. The soldiers on the Orion arm have confidence in their own star-level warriors. Even in terms of numbers and strength, the star-level warriors on their side are not even slightly behind their opponents. Out of their confidence in their yin and yang dao and the combined tricks of yin and yang dao, they firmly believe that the strong men on their side should win. At least we can fight to a draw, or we can escape from the battlefield. In such a low-level battle, these soldiers can defeat the strong men of other levels because they have the advantage of numbers and joint tactics. Boom 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 boom. Swish swish swish. A series of shocking lights bombarded the sky above the stars, and a series of explosions shone across the entire universe. This battle was so terrifying that people from light years away would see the battle scene here a few years later. In fact, similar wars and battlefields are being staged at this very moment in the entire frontline area occupied by the enemy in the Orion arm. I don't know how many strong men died in this war, and I don't know how many ordinary soldiers who held the expectations of their hometown people fell in this war. But there are also countless fighting heroes who will appear in this battle. In the next few hundred or even thousands of years, the most talented and powerful men in the Orion arm may be baptized in this war, and then advance by leaps and bounds and become the mainstay of the future Orion arm. Boom boom boom. However, on these battlefields, the same as the previous battlefield, the main location of the finals is still a war between the strongest above the star level. The combat power and destructive power of stellar-level warriors far exceed those of ordinary warriors. With their astonishing strength, they create battle energy light waves that are no less powerful than the battleship's main gun in every blow. The fields of the strong seem to be free of charge on these battlefields. Whether they are restraining the enemy, resisting, or accelerating, countless star-level fields are surging here. There are also countless ordinary soldiers who have seen stellar powerhouses. These were once rare to see, but now they have become the domain power of the stellar powerhouses who are around them. These powers have fascinated many ordinary soldiers and genius soldiers, and even made some more talented beings realize something. After all, the power surging here can inspire countless creative ideas. Therefore, it is no joke that real strong men will emerge from these ordinary soldiers in the future. Generally speaking, such wars are often the hotbeds for strong men. The real geniuses in the future may have been the buried group of people became stronger because the seeds of strength in their hearts were stimulated in this kind of war. Generally speaking, every powerful star field that wants to quickly improve the reserve of strong people in its own star field starts a war with other star fields. The reason is that war is the breeding ground for the birth of strong people. Haha, is this a unique combination within Orion's arms? It turns out it's just that. A star-level powerhouse was in existence belonging to the Coalition. During a battle with an Orion Arm star-level being in the Alliance, he suddenly stepped back and let the opponent's blow pass, and then laughing proudly. I have always heard how terrifying the Orion Arm's joint attack is, but now I see that this strong man is not afraid at all. Because the enemy's Orion Arm combined with the special move didn't seem to make the opponent's strength explode. Although his attacks had improved somewhat, this stellar being still dodged the opponent's blow quickly and naturally. Just as this star-level being was avoiding the blow of the Orion Arm star-level strongman in front of him, the Orion Arm strongman who missed the blow did not look disappointed. He even smiled. The expression of this stellar powerhouse who avoided the attack suddenly changed wildly. Because the other party's smile made his hair stand on end. So he quickly realized something was wrong and retreated violently. It's just too late. Because just when this star-level powerhouse felt something was wrong, an attack from a star-level powerhouse that was also not weak appeared above his head. Puff. This attack is plain and simple. But what it contains is still the power of a star-level powerhouse. How come? The star-level being who had just avoided the attack of an Orion-armed strongman had his eyes widened. But this time he didn't dodge the attack, so he could only watch helplessly as the attack from another star-level powerhouse landed on top of his head. Puff. His head seemed to explode, causing the heaven and earth to appear the color of blood. He would never believe it until his death. How could there be such a terrible joint move? Ha, now you know, our joint attack is not just about this little power, but you are simply not worthy of us using more power. The stellar powerhouse stepped back with a sneer on his face. Because one of the enemy's star-level experts came forward to attack him again. After all, the number of star-level warriors in the Coalition is far greater than that of Orion-armed star-level warriors. When one star-level warrior has to deal with 5 of the same level, even if they have a joint attack, they will still be exhausted. Poof. Finally, a star-level powerhouse from Orion's arm was rubbed against his body by a star-level fighter from the Coalition. This attack was originally aimed at the vital point of the Orion arm star-level powerhouse, but just when he was about to succeed, another star-level Orion arm powerhouse suddenly appeared on his body. The power of a stellar powerhouse. The power of Yin-Yang Dao originally focuses on explosions, and the positive and negative forces can erupt with terrifying power far beyond their imagination. As a result, this attack became useless because it was offset by the power of the positive and negative Yin and Yang Dao on this stellar powerhouse. How is that possible? I obviously attacked him. The Coalition master who attacked the former astral level felt uncomfortable for a while. Haha, if we can get hurt so easily by you with our joint attack, we won't be able to claim to be able to kill enemies across levels. Against the stellar primary class, even though the Orion arm was at an absolute disadvantage in terms of numbers, the strong men of the Orion arm actually proved with their strength that their strength was still extremely terrifying. At least at the primary level of stars, when the strong men of the Orion arm joined forces, it was as if they suddenly became a whole, and they reached the middle level of stars. At least after a group of primary stars suffered heavy casualties, they were still unable to kill any of these powerful men. There were more deaths on my side. Humph, you're a bunch of low-level losers, look at me. Suddenly, at the edge of the battlefield, a powerful sound wave containing the wrath of the mid-level stars was transmitted to the battlefield. This sound wave is not just a sound wave. The attack power contained in it caused a junior strongman of the Will Army star who was supposed to die under the hands of the Orion arm and the strongman to instantly escape the siege and escape from the Orion arm. A subordinate who attacked him calmly ran away. The intermediate stellar master has taken action. Senior, these junior warriors of the Orion arm are too arrogant, hurry up and teach them a lesson. Ha ha ha, beings of the Orion arm, even if you are stronger than the primary level stars here, it doesn't matter. We still have the support of the seniors of the mid-level stars, and there are even more powerful high-level stars behind us. Even at the top of the star, there are even more than a dozen galaxy-level adults than you in the Orion arm. Your strength is nothing in the eyes of these seniors. You're fighting with us, a bunch of beginner-level stars, and they're all fighting like this, so why are you going to fight with the adults in the middle level of the star level? Die quickly, but when you die, I still have to take part. If I can kill one of you, my contribution will be great. When the sound rang out, each of the first-level stellar beings smiled at the several first-level stellar masters who had joined forces in the Orion arm. At the same time, of course, the entry-level powerhouses of several major stars in the Orion arm no longer underestimated their enemies. With their strength, they might have a little bit of backhand power against a group of first-class stars, but against a group of mid-class stars, one of them might have a slight chance, but if there are several together, then their chances are extremely slim. And just as they feared, around the battlefield, several brainwave power beings that were not weaker than the speaker's strength surged with power at the same time and flew towards the battlefield. Their number is the same as the 5 major star classes that fought in the Orion arm. But the enemy is an intermediate star, and that doesn't mean that they don't have a way to join forces. If they use a joint approach, no matter what terrible joint tactics the first-level star warriors of the Orion arm use, it is absolutely impossible to win. After all, it's a bit lower than the initial level. Humph, are they sure of us? We are ready for what His Excellency has given us. Okay, let them see. We, the strong men of the Orion arm, have another powerful weapon that dares to go into battle. Haha, are we about to use that kind of thing? I also want to try my hand at these mid-level stars. I don't think we will lose much. Let's do it. Although we won't lose much, it's not worthwhile to waste strength and get injured. The war is still going on. Okay, get ready. I shout slogans and use them together. When a group of intermediate star beings surrounded the Orion arm star primary joint beings here from 5 directions, they came quickly. The 5 Orion arm's primary star warriors all had no worried expressions on their faces. They have something ready. Huh? You guys from the Orion arm are not afraid of us facing a group of mid-level stars. You have some willpower. Willpower? Our willpower is not very good, it's just because you are not strong enough to make us afraid. Asshole, these Orion armed guys really piss me off. Go ahead and cut them into pieces. Superior. When the group of intermediate star beings from the coalition came one by one and used the power of brain waves to tease the primary powerhouses of several major stars in the Orion arm, the strong men in the Orion arm started talking to them one by one. He taunted him back, making the other party look ugly. Therefore, they no longer held back the Orion arm juniors who dared to refute themselves and others, and rushed faster too. It's now. When several intermediate-level stars were about to arrive, one of the primary-level creatures from the Orion arm star suddenly roared. At the same time, a hole suddenly opened in the subspace behind the primary creatures of several major stars. Within this opening are pieces of meteorite-like material. This material is extremely fast and seems to have been modified. Its characteristic is that it is so fast that it is unimaginable. At least the group of mid-level star powerhouses in front of them didn't react at all. And just when they couldn't react, blow it up. A primary star creature in Orion's arm roared loudly. Blow it up for me. Bang bang bang. Several elementary beings from stars roared as they struggled to control the meteorite material they had triggered. Just as they roared this sound, the meteorite materials that had just flown a little distance away were almost face to face with the mid-level powerhouses of the coalition stars who were targeting their respective targets. Bang. 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 Each of the 5 meteorites erupted with dazzling brilliance and exploded completely in an instant. /book 19691/L. It takes a genius to remember the address of this website in 1 second. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1815. Boom. It is impossible to describe how amazing this explosion was. Please search on Baidu. At least according to the words of soldiers from both armies fighting in the starry sky at that time, the power of this explosion was comparable to the combat power of a galaxy-level powerhouse. Each of the mid-level star powerhouses flying towards them from the 5 major directions had no chance to resist at all. They were completely swallowed up by the powerful light of these 5 explosions, and were unable to even utter a scream. What shocked others even more was that the powerful light wave of this explosion was actually like a directional explosion. There was no sense of chaos in the starry sky at all, and the wave spread directly in a certain direction. If you want to describe it, it is like there is an invisible gun barrel in the interstellar space, which completely points the power of the explosion in the direction of those mid-level strong men in the star, beating them to pieces. At this moment, the entire battlefield seemed to be suddenly silent. Just now, the middle-level experts from the 5 major stars appeared together. Although the battlefield was shocked, no one thought anything was wrong. After all, there were many experts in the coalition, and everyone knew this. But this time it was different. The entry-level powerhouses from the Orion Arm star, who were supposed to be like Daezu, would definitely die even if they could join forces to resist. However, when the mid-level powerhouses from these 5 stars appeared, they were not able to do anything at all. They used their trump card without hesitation. The effect of this trump card was to make all the characters, including the person involved, frightened and have no intention of continuing to fight. Because this thrown explosive actually automatically locked onto the enemy, and then instantly neutralized the enemy's attack, and then killed the approaching enemy with one blow. The power of this explosion is simply exaggerated. No, it should be said that the fixed point direction ability of the explosion is too terrifying. The explosion power is like a bullet. Even if the explosion energy used is not large, it will definitely cause extremely terrible damage. We are actually holding such terrifying things and using them so easily. I will definitely not use the rest. This is something I can use to save my life even if I go out in the future, or even threaten high-level experts in the stars. Several Orion Arm beings of the first level of the star were completely shocked, and each of them thought that what Jia Yan gave them was simply terrifying beyond their imagination. Because Jia Yan gave them many such small meteorite-like things and told them to only use one when using them, so each of them saw that the head was extremely small, maybe only 1 or 2 tons. I don't think it will have any effect on heavy small meteorites. After all, they are also knowledgeable. They can recognize the power of yin and yang dao inside the meteorite. Even if the yin and yang dao is explosive, they don't think it can cause any damage to the star level. But what happened was that such a small meteorite exploded and killed all the intermediate existences of the 5 major stars. They only used the 5 meteorites because they had full trust in Jia Yan. They did not throw out all the meteorites handed over by Jia Yan in one breath, which would have been a waste. And they now knew why the power of these 5 meteorites was so terrifying. In fact, their power was not really that strong. It was not beyond the imagination of these Orion Arm stars, but there was only one thing beyond their imagination. That is, each of these meteorite explosives can explode at a fixed point. In this way, it is not difficult to imagine that even a very small powerful explosive can be transformed into something like a gun barrel to superimpose its power and kill a strong man. Is this the newly developed thing by Lord Jia Yan? The gun of the powerful man in the universe. Awesome, you are really a genius. There is no way we can come up with such a thing. For the Lord, this may not mean much more than leaving it to us. If his body can also use such a folding attack method, then it means that the Lord's own combat power has definitely become much stronger. Ha ha ha, I'm suddenly full of confidence in you. To be honest, I didn't have that much confidence before. Die, With this little meteorite, what are we afraid of? Just kill them directly. We will kill those at the elementary level of the star with our own hands. We will kill the existences at the intermediate level or even the high level of the star with our meteorite guns. Really, when the star comes at the top, we can't escape in time. It's crazy. Our 5 major stars are actually so expanded at the initial stage, but I want to say, it's just what I want, ha ha ha. The primary beings of the 5 stars went completely crazy looking at the combat weapons Jia Yan handed them. They are really crazy. Not only them, but all the soldiers under the Orion arm, as long as they are on this battlefield and saw the scene just now, are completely crazy at this moment. Our seniors in the Orion arm are actually so terrifying. No, it's not that they are scary, but that they use some kind of subspace items. You should know who made the items in the subspace. Ha ha ha, it turns out that Lord Jia Yan gave it to them. Lord Jia Yan has been helping us in our battle. Yes, Mr. Jia Yan has helped us. We will win this battle. No, we will definitely drive these 15 major coalition forces out of our Orion arm. Kill, kill, kill. The soldiers in Orion's arm seemed to have taken some big tonic, and each one of them rushed towards the enemy crazily. Moreover, at this moment, the enemy's 5 intermediate level stars were actually killed by the enemy in one blow. When they felt that their morale was greatly reduced, even the first level star warriors in that group almost lost their minds, and their combat effectiveness was greatly improved. Weaken. Taking advantage of this moment, the star level joint team killed 3 more star juniors in one breath. In addition, the semi-star level joint team below killed hundreds of semi-star class in an instant. Strong. The Venerables also faced off against the Venerables, and they even fought fiercely with several semi-star level coalition enemies. Together, they were not afraid of the enemy's combat power at all, and even killed one of them. You group of intruders, let me kill them all. Countless soldiers were roaring at the enemy. They are too angry. These invading foreign enemies have been arrogant in their Orion arm hometown for too long. Unlike the original war between the Orion arm and the biochemical star territory, this group of foreign enemies is even more powerful than the Empire. If it goes too far, almost every place occupied is exterminated. In the war between the Orion arm and the biochemical star territory, because they all relied on strong men, the places they occupied were not strong enough, and they implemented relatively mild policies. In some places, almost no changes were made. This was also later the Orion arm simply merged the biochemical star territory into the Orion arm, which was not the reason why all the creatures in the biochemical star territory resisted. In comparison, this group of invaders went too far and killed at least a lot of the compatriots in the Orion arm. It is natural that the soldiers in the Orion arm would be angry. Death. The enemy, on the other hand, was completely stunned at this moment. Because the scene of killing 5 interstellar beings in an instant made countless soldiers and strong men within the coalition completely in disbelief. After all, for them, in this battlefield, let alone the middle-level stars, even the strong men of the first-level stars can kill the 5 primary-level stars in the Orion arm casually. The opponent was completely killed. But the truth slapped them all in the face. No one can control such a terrifying attack method and the arrogance of the first-level experts from the 5 stars. Back off, first find out what fighting method they use. Yes, if you use that kind of attack on us, our star will die in an instant. Escape, as long as there is no big route. Let's go. The initial stage of a group of stars is almost as if they are fleeing rather than retreating. After all, they are completely inferior to the powerful mid-level stars. If even the mid-level ones are killed by the enemy's attack method in an instant, they will definitely die in less than a second. There is no way to escape. Even if the 5 primary star warriors do not use their wonderful attack methods, they will definitely be able to win easily if they join forces to deal with the now fragmented coalition star primary team. What a bunch of trash. Seeing that the army was about to be defeated, a high-level star being who had been skimming behind the enemy lines finally couldn't sit still at all. On the battlefield here, there is only a high-level star like him, because they have already mastered the information and know that the enemy will only be the first-level powerhouses of the 5 stars in the battle. Sending a high-level star being here already means that the coalition forces have so many talents that there is no place to put them, because no one believes that even if a large wave of star temples cannot defeat the 5 primary stars, other mid-level star beings, he will not be able to defeat the 5 major stars at the elementary level. You know, this is a small level difference. In the eyes of stellar level beings, a small level difference is already a huge difference. Seeing that this high-level star being couldn't sit still anymore, his fierce strength spread out and flew towards the side, openly and without hiding his thoughts at all. But he was so angry when he saw it. The primary beings of the 5 stars looked at him as if they were seeing a huge military achievement. They even grabbed it. Haha, I have never killed a high-level star being in my life, leave it to me. No, no, you said you haven't killed anyone, but a few of us have. Why don't you give it to me? I've been feeling a little angry lately. Don't you guys just want military merit? Actually, I lack military merit the most. I want to buy a yin and yang Tao training method from Lord Jia Yan in exchange for military merit. I also want a way to practice, so don't let me take it away from you. Several elementary level stellar beings were all making a joke. Facing this high-level stellar being, who was even 2 levels higher than them, and who would almost be beaten into a pig's head when they came together, they still want to grab it? The 5 of you are so unreasonable. Let's die together. At this moment, the high-level star man seemed to have a brain attack. He was extremely angry in an instant, and his blow spanned an endless distance, covering the 5 primary star beings within the attack range. Within. You must know that he is a high-ranking star, and the gap between his strength and that of the first-level star is like the gap between heaven and earth. In normal times, when a strong first-level star sees a high-level star, he will shout respectfully, "Seniors!" But at this moment on the battlefield, the 5 primary star existences actually wanted to steal his head, which made this high-level star warrior angry and amused at the same time. These 5 primary level star beings can't even understand how far apart the higher level stars are from themselves. Although they had some kind of secret fighting method, from what he had seen before, this fighting method could barely kill an intermediate star. Even if it was used, he would not be afraid. But just when this high-ranking star was so angry that he rushed to the front of the 5 great Huaixin primary beings. The Orion Arm warriors, who are the first level of the 5 stars. Zhaozhuyuan.com. It was as if there was no noise at this moment. Everyone turned their heads and looked at them with solemn expressions. It's scary. The high-level star is indeed the high-level star. Even if we join forces, we will definitely not be able to resist it. Haha, it's a pity that he's a little confused. We, the 5 primary stars, will really look down on a high-level star. Haha, let's join forces now. 5 meteorites come out together, explode them for me. The 5 primary beings from the stars actually used 5 pieces of meteorite material from 5 people in an instant. These 5 pieces of meteorite material flew out of the subspace in an instant, and then exploded towards the high-level star being in one breath. What? It's actually 5 pieces of meteorite-like material. No, the things in the subspace must be inseparable from Jia Yan, that's not good. The coming high-level star being was originally full of disdain for the 5 primary star powerhouses who used things in the subspace, and such small things. But after a moment, he thought about who was the most powerful and mysterious subspace expert in Orion's arms, and his expression changed. Because within Orion's arm, there is the most terrifying being who uses subspace, and it is also the last existence of the sea-fixing needle in Orion's arm. It is also the most feared being at the galaxy level behind their alliance, Jia-Yan. There is also that evolutionary beast, and the subspace he uses is the most terrifying, and at this moment, the methods that the star beginners will use are definitely inseparable from this evolutionary beast. As for a star's high-level methods, he is really a little scared. This book comes from. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1816. The distance was too far just now, and I didn't see that the method that killed the middle-level subordinates of the star actually came from the subspace. This is definitely Jia-Yan's method. If I had seen it, I wouldn't rush out now. You must know that Jia-Yan is a galaxy level, and not an ordinary galaxy beginner. Now we have to block it hard. At least the attack I saw just now didn't feel scary. This high-level creature from the star was extremely afraid of Jia-Yan. But things have already begun, and the opponent's attacks have all come to him. Even if he is afraid, there is no room for change. So he could only choose to fight. This high-level star creature at least felt that he could withstand the attack power of the 5-star mid-level beings that were killed just now, because his strength was naturally stronger compared to the strength of the star mid-level beings. Many. But what he couldn't imagine was that the attack power used by the initial enemies of the 5 stars was actually used in 5 ways at the same time, and once it was released, it seemed as if they were gathered together. Yes, this is a kind of meteorite team-up trick. The high-ranking star saw the light of the meteorites in front of him, and suddenly mixed them together. Then, he could not imagine that the light rushed to his eyes so quickly. The speed, strength, and feeling of invincibility have all increased several times. Block it for me. This high-level stellar expert suddenly roared repeatedly. In an instant, a shocking force exploded inside his body, and there was a feeling that made people suffocate. This high-level stellar expert actually used all his explosive power. He was also the kind of ordinary star. The level will never be used. Once used, it will explode with full force that will hurt yourself. Such an explosive force would make him weak for a long time. But it is better to be weak than to die directly. When it comes to death, it's obvious that any sentient being will choose weakness. It's a pity that even if he unleashed an extremely terrifying explosive power, he still couldn't resist the terrifying weapon created by a galaxy-level being. After the meteorites emitted by the 5 major stars were fused into an explosive force, the power contained in them was no longer something that an ordinary high-ranking star could bear. Puff! The high-ranking star's eyes suddenly glazed over. He burst out with all his strength, and in front of that weird exploding meteorite, it was like a piece of paper meeting a bullet and being shot through instantly. And what he wore was his entire body. This unimaginable and terrifying force shot out a wound on his chest that penetrated the front and back in one breath, and there was an energy that he could not imagine exploding inside his body. The power of this explosion completely disrupted his entire life. In other words, he is going to die. Ha ha ha, I don't believe it. I didn't lose to you, I lost to a galaxy-level person. Ha ha ha. It is an honor to die in the hands of a galaxy-level person, ha ha ha. This high-level stellar being burst into laughter, and then died unwillingly. You are right. You died at the hands of a galaxy-level person. We will not argue with you, but if you die, that is the result and cannot be changed. Several of the primary beings of stars within the Orion arm have a bit of a weird look on their faces. Although when they used that move just now, they had already guessed the power of this move, which would destroy the world, but after actually killing a high-level star existence, they felt a little unreal. Feel. Yes, it is true that a high-level star is extremely terrifying. They should be happy to kill a high-level star. But in fact, just like what the other party yelled before dying, it doesn't look like they did it at all. So they look weird. But no matter how these 5 primary star creatures feel, at least all the soldiers around them, whether they are enemy or friendly, at this moment, treat them as if they are primary stars and kill them. This high-level stellar being has just emerged and wants to turn the tide. Ho! Even a high-level star was killed, ha ha ha, the Orion arm is invincible. The Orion arm is invincible. Ha ha ha, the Orion arm is really invincible. Our 5 primary level stars actually killed 5 intermediate level stars, 1 high level star, and several primary level star enemies. This record is definitely representative. My Orion arm is invincible. Fight, fight, let them see that in addition to the stellar level, our Orion arm has strong men of other levels whose strength cannot be underestimated. Ha ha ha, it's so good. I've been beaten by you for so long, and now it's our turn for the Orion arm to explode. Death, you intruders. Give me back my mountains and rivers. This was the reaction of the soldiers on Orion's arm. The soldiers of the coalition forces, and even the senior officers of the battleship, seemed to be dumbfounded, completely losing their will to fight. What? Even 1 high-level star creature was killed by 5 of their first-level stars. How is this possible? Has the universe changed? I saw something impossible. The 5 primary level creatures from the stars not only killed the powerful primary level stars, but also killed the 5 intermediate level stars, and then killed a high level star. How could this happen? What should we do now? The senior leaders of the coalition forces were all in disbelief, but the attack of the Orion Arm army was already in front of them. The attacks by Orion Arm soldiers and fleets were continuous. As mentioned before, in terms of combat effectiveness at the bottom level, the Orion Arm benefits from having more numbers than the enemy, so their combat effectiveness actually exceeds that of the coalition forces. At least with human sea warriors, the light of 1 battleship cannot destroy your battleships, what about 2, 3, or even 10? So in the Interstellar, countless counterattack warships instantly rushed in front of the warships of the coalition soldiers who had become overwhelmed. Some of them died together, while others intercepted them. After all, the enemy has been completely defeated by now and has become a headless fly at a loss. They don't even know what they are going to do. So those who ran away, and those who fought back. No matter what they did, they didn't have the slightest intention to fight. The result was very clear. They were easily overtaken by the warships within the Orion Arm, and then attacked as a group. Then, they became the targets of destruction. There are even worse ones. For example, after killing the enemy and finally rushing out as high-level stellar creatures that were stationed there, the 5 first-class stars rushed into the coalition battleship group again. Wherever they went, it was like entering an uninhabited land, killing and fighting in an instant, and there was no enemy anywhere. After all, they are high-level stellar creatures, and no one dares to stand in the way of all the creatures they have killed. Even if they don't use Jia Yan's meteorite explosion power, their original combat effectiveness is definitely very impressive. There is also a joint fighting method, which is even more powerful. Not to mention ordinary battleships, even several flagships in the coalition team can easily be blown up by these primary star beings. With their help, the coalition's fighting spirit finally completely collapsed. Run away, it's impossible to win. This Orion Arm's army is too strong. Oh my god, is this still the Orion Arm army we promised to defeat in an instant? I don't want to die, run away. Even though the supervising team tried their best to hold back the escaping fleet, the whole war had become like this. It was no longer something they could turn the tide of, so the entire coalition fleet was completely defeated. Countless ships and powerful men were fleeing in all directions towards the battle group. And their escape made it easier for the Orion Arm fleet to pursue and kill them. After all, everyone prefers beating a drowned dog to a drowned dog that won't resist. Who doesn't like a military exploit obtained for nothing? Death, death, death. Ha ha ha, is this still the outsider army we encountered before? It's simply too weak. It's cool, our Orion arm is already so powerful. Kill, 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 these bastards dare to invade our Orion arm and trample on our homeland. All of them will die. The troops and warships on the Orion arm can be said to be a joy to catch up with. But they had no idea that behind this war, they only knew its name, and no one had ever seen the strongest man in Orion's arms, Jia Yan, who actually played an important role in it. After all, it can be said that most of the enemy's most powerful trump cards, those super powerful star-level beings, were killed by Jia Yan's meteorite explosives. No one can bury such a credit. In fact, the 5 primary star creatures will not take the credit from Jia Yan. After all, the 5 primary star creatures can kill so many star-level creatures, and there is even a high-level star creature among them. This no one would believe it, let alone believe it. So they might as well say it out. This is the credit of Lord Jia Yan. They also believe that similar things will definitely happen in other battlefields. In fact, what they expected was completely consistent with the fact that similar battle situations were occurring on several other battlefields. For example, there is another major battlefield less than 3 light-years away from this battlefield. Ha ha ha, die, die. Our Orion Arm 5-star juniors actually defeated a high-level star. This record is so exciting. Kill, 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 these foreign enemies, now is a good time to kill them. The battlefield here is also playing out the drama of 5-star level creatures killing gods and Buddhas in the world. But unlike the other place, not even the last high-level stars that appeared here were killed. Because there were actually 2 high-level enemy star beings here. However, at the last moment, they felt the danger and joined forces to defend. They barely managed to withstand the power of the meteorite explosion, but they were also seriously injured. So they fled. The rest of the drama on the entire battlefield was almost the same as on the other side. With the help of these 5 first-level star warriors who had won the victory, the Orion Arm army was almost covering up the enemy's fleet, killing the enemy's fleet almost to the point of losing their helmets. Remove armor. Big win here too. And in fact, as long as there are similar strong battlefields, Orion Arm will be victorious in countless large and small battlefields this time. Especially on the battlefield where Jia Yan's team appears, this kind of victory is even more comprehensive. For example, the Cowherd fleet. Because it is a battlefield where members of Jia Yan's team personally supervise the battle, the fleet here is naturally very large. Correspondingly, the size of their enemy's fleet, even the size of the strong ones, is greater than that of several other places. As the war progressed, many stellar enemies also appeared. Tian Nialang and the others, and even the powerful enemies of the same level in the middle level of the star, did not use the meteorite explosives given by Master Jia Yan. Instead, they used their own strength to join forces head-on, and openly and honestly killed the 2 enemy teams of 5 3-person stellar mid-level teams. At the same level, Jia Yan's team was almost invincible, even if the number of enemies was several times greater than theirs. Court death. That day, after Niu Lang personally killed a mid-level star being, a high-level star hidden in the enemy fleet came to Shiyuan and even 3 high-level stars became furious together. They rushed out of their hiding place in an instant, aimed at the 3 Niu Lang, and struck them with one strike. Here, let's use the meteorite that Your Excellency gave us. Moreover, our ability to control subspace is stronger than that of other star-level comrades. According to what Your Excellency said, we should try to reduce the scope of the explosion as much as possible. It has a bullet-like effect, and its lethality will definitely be much stronger than that of ordinary users, so use it quickly. Good. The three members of Jia Yan's team all took advantage of the powerful subspace guidance taught by Jia Yan in the past, especially the guidance method of Yin and Yang Dao, so that the meteorites that flew out at that moment became as if they were different from other meteorites. The user has a completely different attitude. What? So fast? The faces of the high-level experts from the three major stars who arrived had changed drastically. The three meteorites used by the junior comrades from other stars were no smaller than those used by others, and flew out of the subspace in an instant. However, what was different from those used by others was that the power of these three meteorites was actually stronger than those used by others. Much more powerful. In essence, there is nothing stronger, but because Tianyi Alang and the others used Jia Yan's method to control the flying speed of the meteorite and the scope of the explosion, they instantly controlled the explosion into a real bullet. Therefore, both the speed and the power of the explosion far exceeded the meteorites controlled by other comrades. Get out of my way. The expressions of the three high-level star warriors changed drastically, and they quickly used their strongest resistance. To be continued. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1817. But it's no use. Puff. 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 In the silent cosmic space, a crisp crackling sound actually resounded. Three high-level stellar beings don't need meteorites to join forces to attack, just one attack at a time. Direct death. It has to be said that the members of Jia Yan's team are not only stronger together than other experts who use Yin and Yang Dao, but their ability to use Jia Yan's meteorite is much stronger. Others have to join forces to kill a high-level star, but they can use the same thing to kill one person. In other words, as long as they have that kind of meteorite, even high-level stars can be killed. In front of their eyes alone, they all regarded it as nothing. Ha 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 ha, kids, let me start the counterattack. The heavenly cowherd was simply excited. Even if they were very good, it was still a bit unsatisfactory to kill a high-level star by leaping up. After all, they were not the kind of people that Jia Yan used to be able to kill enemies by leaping up. But now, they used a different method, similar to killing enemies by jumping up, which shocked Hoshino. Kill kill kill. The three of them were all beaming with joy, and their fighting spirit was boiling. The three middle-level stellar Jia Yan team members were even more unscrupulous at this moment. Even the five high-level stellar beings died in their hands. How could any other beings be able to resist their footsteps? Except for the personal presence of a galaxy-level person, even the presence of a stellar peak being would not be enough to see. After all, they can also join forces to use meteorites like Jia Yan. Such strength is definitely much stronger. The existence of the peak of the star, unless it is a super genius or is about to approach the galaxy-level barrier, otherwise it is a dead end. But beings that are close to the peak of stars at the galaxy level would never dare to participate in such a war. After all, the galaxy level is just around the corner, and it would be uneconomical to die in this situation. In fact, on the other side of this battlefield, that is, the coalition army does have a star at the top. But at this moment, looking at so many high-level stellar creatures dying directly at the hands of the three mid-level stellar members of Jia Yan's team, this stellar peak existence was a little hesitant about whether to fight. I am just a star peak being. I may be stronger than the three high-level star beings just now, but I am only powerful alone. If the three high-level star beings join forces to attack me, I may not be able to defeat them. If you go out now, wouldn't it mean death? This star's peak powerhouse felt at a loss as to whether to go out to fight. And he also knew that compared to the three powerful men in Jia Yan's team, and the secret tricks they used in the Yin and Yang Dao, he would definitely be invincible, or even just go out and die. This made him dare not think about whether to go out. No, I can't go out to fight, because I want to keep this life and continue to work for the galaxy-level adults. The adults must also know my difficulties. After all, if I go out now, I will die. Before this stellar peak being came to participate in this battle, he had never thought that he, a majestic stellar peak being, would actually feel scared because of the 3 stellar middle-level experts in Jia Yan's team. He didn't even dare to go to war. Before this, he had been thinking about the major members of Jia Yan's team. Each one of them was arrogant. As a senior, he had to teach them a lesson. But he never expected that the members of Jia Yan's team, relying only on 3 people, could actually wipe out the entire fleet of star-level experts in his fleet. This strength is too strong, and what kind of subdimensional thing did they use? What on earth was it? It's too scary. Yes, it must be Jia Yan who took action in secret. Damn it, Jia Yan has gone too far. A majestic galaxy-level senior actually took action against our star-level existence. This stellar peak existence actually put the blame on Jia Yan, and Jia Yan really couldn't justify it. Because he did intervene in wars elsewhere. Even so, he would never feel guilty. Because when the 15th Alliance Army and the 16th Alliance Army came to fight against the Orion Arm, they did not consider whether it was fair for the Alliance Arm to fight them. Now that he is a galaxy-level meddling in a stellar-level war, there are also what's wrong? Not intervening in the lower-level war, Jia Yan was already trying to save face. Of course, it is wrong to say that he did not intervene, because Jia Yan did not have the energy to intervene. Besides, he has taught so many soldiers and civilians in the Orion Arm the unique skills of Yin and Yang Dao, which has rewritten the entire course of the war. It is true to say that it is a bit wrong. It doesn't make sense. In short, Jia Yan just wants to win. Haha, the star peak existence here actually doesn't dare to take action. What no one knows is that in this battlefield, there is a person who has been in the war but has not used his full strength. He is just a clone of Jia Yan. It's not that this clone doesn't want to use all his strength, but at this moment, Jia Yan is controlling an unknown number of clones and observing the war situation in major battlefields. Therefore, he has no energy at all. It is already very difficult for all these clones to explode with full strength, even just to fight on the battlefield. Now, this clone has seen the results of Tianyi Alang's side, and deeply applauds the efforts of these subordinates. Although he was also a little proud of his meteorite explosives, after all, if it weren't for his explosives, the outcome of the battle here would definitely be completely different. The effects of my explosives can be seen. The effects used by my subordinates are completely different from those used by other stellar classes. What they use is even more wasteful, while Tianyi Alang and the others the one used is slightly more reasonable, although in my own opinion, it is not that reasonable. Jia Yan's avatars are half-star level warriors on the surface, and they are even suppressed to the heaven level on the battlefield. They are just a small roll in soy sauce. But these clones of him also carry meteorite explosive materials that have been produced in large quantities recently. Once the war gets very difficult and even galaxy-level beings come forward, these clones of his will step forward. Don't underestimate this mere half-star combat capability. Although on the frontal battlefield, these clones of his are definitely not as powerful as the guys in Jia Yan's team, but each of Jia Yan's clones is controlled by himself, so if he uses the power in the starting space, the effects of those meteorites are even more terrifying than those of the Calhurt and the others. In other words, each of these countless clones, once Jia Yan takes action himself, will become an extremely terrifying existence close to the galaxy level. Jia Yan already has too much confidence, and even his trump cards have become many due to the preparations these days. That's why he dared to launch such a war. Otherwise, how could he dare to provoke a war against others when he knew that a group of galaxy-level enemies would join forces to kill him? This is Jia Yan's trump card. Very good. At least the beings at the top of the star don't dare to take action. Then the overall situation of this place, one of the main battlefields, can be considered settled. Jia Yan silently let go of the main spirit here, silently leaving a little bit of spirit behind, and after helping the fleet kill the remaining enemy troops, he focused on other battlefields. At this moment, there are many battlefields that are being fought together, and there are a few more. It is one of the main battlefields led by Jia Yan's team, just like the cowherd here. On these battlefields, every member of Jia Yan's team became the focus. Even if the enemy sends high-level stars or even the existence of the star peak, there are several strong men from Jia Yan's team who can bear it with all their strength. Such terrifying strength and such terrifying trump card made not only the enemy frightened by the news, but also a group of soldiers and civilians of the Orion arm. At this moment, they had not made any move against Jia Yan's team, but Jia Yan had always been there faintly. The giant Mosquito ancestor who controls the war feels deeply unfathomable. After all that fighting power was achieved with the help of Jia Yan and Jia Yan's team. Needless to say, Jia Yan did not appear in this war from beginning to end. Many people even wondered whether Jia Yan was afraid and ran away. But as soon as he took action, he used the unique trick of joining forces to lead the reversal of the war, and then he took action to let the stars master the kind of meteorite-like subspace material that he personally created, which made the war even more tilted. It turns out that the most powerful part of the enemy is the number of strong men, but now, even the strong men in Orion's arms have not changed, or even a little less. But after Jia Yan took action and released those meteorite materials from the sea, the whole situation has completely changed. The number of strong men has not changed, but their fighting power has changed. Even if this fighting power is borrowed from someone else, a discerning person will know that it is borrowed from a strong man. If it changes, it has changed. Even if this change is borrowed from someone else, at least it will kill someone. The enemy's effects don't just have to be fake. In this way, countless people in the Orion arm, who were originally not optimistic about this war from the bottom of their hearts, now have to admit that their Orion arm is really so strong that it makes people feel numb. It's so scary. Those members of Jia Yan's team are simply terrifying. They have that kind of material that comes from subspace. If we go up there alone, it will be completely fatal. Even the strong men at the top of the star reported their death on the other side of the battlefield just now. It can be seen that one of them alone can kill even one being at the top of the star. Doesn't it mean that a galaxy-level adult needs to go up to deal with a member of Jia Yan's team? Are they still star-level? They are simply non-star level galaxy level powerhouses, right? Oh my god, every one of these members of Jia Yan's team is giving us a huge headache. What should we do now? If this continues, the entire war will be over. As for the coalition forces, countless high-level officials are having a huge headache. Their 15th coalition originally thought it was a good thing that the Orion arm suddenly became confused and caused a war. At least the active forces within Orion's arms will be wiped out in this sudden concentration of combat power. Then Jia Yan will definitely take action personally, and then their strategic goal will be achieved. But when the facts appeared before their eyes, they found that this was not the case at all. This time, the Orion arm seemed to have changed its appearance in a short period of time, transforming into a terrifying star field beyond their imagination. Not to mention ordinary creatures, they joined forces and took advantage of their numbers to suppress the 15 major coalition forces. Even if they were arrogant, they believed that there was absolutely nothing wrong with them. That inexplicable explosion of matter in space became nothing. They found that they couldn't even deal with a member of Jia Yan's team who was an intermediate star. This is simply the greatest absurdity in the world. Humph. This Jia Yan used despicable means. Let's take action personally. I can see that the Orion arm wants to use this opportunity to beat us in one breath without any chance to catch our breath. Okay, let's take some action from our galaxy class. Anyway, no matter how strong they are still far behind us in terms of top combat power. As long as our galaxy class is here, they will be much worse. That is, if you can use despicable means, can you still create a galaxy-level existence? If Jia Yan is so terrifying, how dare we come to Shiyuan to fight? A group of Galaxy-class people have actually been watching the war. At this moment, they can no longer calmly pretend to be mysterious masters. Take action. Especially the existence of the mid-level galaxy, at this moment, still did not show the slightest worry. Because he is a mid-level star, he is not worried about losses on this battlefield. He just wants Jia Yan to appear and achieve his goal. He gave the order to attack. The 15 major galactic levels are divided into small teams around the war battlefield. When that mid-level being from the galaxy, acting as a leader, shouted out the voice to take action. Buzz. Within the entire starry sky, the power of brainwaves is vast. Countless strong men and countless battleship detection instruments felt it at this moment. This is the anger of a galaxy-level being. This is the roar of the most powerful person in the entire galaxy. They are like kings, ready to come to the battlefield. These, galaxy-level powerhouses are ready to take action personally. Is this the aura of a galaxy-level powerhouse? It's so terrifying. There is news that not only the aura of a galaxy-level powerhouse appears on our battlefield, but also in other places. It can be seen that the enemy may not be as simple as one or a few galaxy-level beings taking action. I'm afraid they all set off together. This. If it is said that many soldiers and civilians in the Orion Arm were still dreaming about whether this war would really be as they wished, and the Orion Arm would win a complete victory and even take back their homeland. But now, being rushed by the aura of the galaxy-level powerhouse, they instantly understood that this was simply impossible. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1818. Galaxy level, let alone ordinary soldiers within Orion's arms, is still out of reach even for stellar level experts. They are too terrifying and too powerful. A galaxy level person may kill many powerful people at the top of the star in an instant. Before this, there was no precedent for a battle between a star class and a galaxy class in the interstellar world, let alone a victory. Except for one creature, that is Jia Yan. Jia Yan once defeated a galaxy level at the level of the pinnacle of stars. Perhaps this was a relatively glorious point in his life. This shows how powerful the galaxy class is. Nowadays, the existence of galaxy class appears from various battlefields like ghosts one by one. This makes the countless Orion arms in the entire war battlefield either strong or weak, or the constants who do not believe that galaxy class will show up. The stars felt as if they had been punched hard in the heart. Special incident: the soldiers on the Orion arms side felt their breathing become unsmooth as soon as they felt the terrifying aura of the galaxy level. What should I do? It's galaxy level. It's really not possible. I can't bear the momentum alone. Galaxy class, ordinary soldiers of our Orion arm, how can we let them show up to fight? It's over, it's over. The galaxy class actually took action. I thought such a war would not trigger the galaxy class to take action. Why not? There are only so many galaxy level subordinates. If they are killed by us, how can they not be angry? Now think about what to do. What else can we do? The only person within Orion's arms who can deal with a galaxy level being is Lord Jia Yan, who is a galaxy level being. But he is only one person, and the opponent appears in a group. Even if Lord Jia Yan can fight, we can only deal with the galaxy level in one place. We are definitely in danger. Even if you believe in Jia Yan, even if you believe that he can deal with many galaxy-level strong men together, the creatures in Orion's arms still understand very well that no matter how strong Jia Yan is, there is only one person who is a few light years or even dozens away. On the battlefield of Nyaba, which was hundreds of light years away, he was unable to do anything at the same time. What's more, the galaxy-level powerhouses are obviously well prepared, and it is still unclear whether Jia Yan can defeat their joint forces at one point. Puff. In the interstellar sky, a galaxy-level being, like a huge bear, appeared on the battlefield in an instant. He didn't even appear in the universe before this, and no one knew how he appeared. It was as if he had already existed on that battlefield. Oh, there are quite a lot of little toys in Orion's arms. He watched coldly and looked at the overwhelming number of Orion arm ships next to him, and then in an instant, he used his brainwave power. Boom! Throughout the interstellar space, it was as if some groundbreaking thunder suddenly emerged. Endless thunder and flashes surged here, followed by countless screams. These screams made people feel very worried. As a galaxy-level person, I won't argue with you mere ants. I will only kill a few of you. Now, if you are sensible, please inform Jia Yan and tell him to get out. Yes, if they don't show up, then we will go on a killing spree ourselves. Next to this bear-like creature, there was actually another galaxy-level voice. This galaxy-level person suddenly appeared. He is a big snake-like creature, and behind this creature, there are other galaxy-level shadows. The Bear Galaxy class who took action just now, just like what he said, did not use any killing moves at all. He just killed some of the weak Orion Arm soldiers and made the Orion Arm battleships around him unable to move. There were many soldiers inside. They were all seriously injured but not dead. This is a very easy performance for Galaxy-class beings. After all, they also want to save face. It is already very embarrassing for so many Galaxy-class people to appear now. If they deal with ordinary Orion Arm soldiers and fleets who are like ants, that's a bit much. This. Tian Nialang and other members of Jia Yan's team, who were far away on the other side of the battlefield, saw this scene one by one. Their expressions suddenly changed, and the three of them quickly flew backwards to escape. They were confident that they could fight against the Star Summit, but they were facing a galaxy-level entity. Even on the surface, it seemed to be a small level stronger than the Star Summit being. They would never have the slightest idea. Who thinks he can still fight against the Galaxy class? It would be useless to join forces again, because that is a galaxy-level existence. You three little guys, stop here. Just when Tianyi Alang and the other three were joining forces to escape, they thought that the looming galaxy-level beings did not take them seriously and would spare their lives, when a soft and crisp sound rang out. Stand up! What made their scalps tingle was that a powerful rabbit-like creature appeared behind them, as if teleporting. This creature is more than 20 kilometers long. Although it is not that big, as measured by the strength of its brain waves, it definitely belongs to the galaxy level. It made Tianyi Alang and the other three people feel a sensation on their scalps. Tingling. Puff. The three of them teamed up to use a unique move to resist. But even so, it still has no effect at all. Even the meteorite in the space had no time to emit at this moment. The three cowherds, who were riding smoothly on the battlefield just now and were extremely proud, were so easily brainwaved by a galaxy-level being. The power took control. But they were still not killed. Because the killing of the Galaxy class is not their original intention. Their last hope in coming here is to force Jia Yan out, and then capture or kill Jia Yan under siege, so that they can have a chance to be promoted. So even if Tianyi Alang and the others are caught, they still won't die for a while. They have value. Hey, what about the members of Jia Yan's team? Didn't they feel very comfortable playing in the Interstellar just now? Why have they suddenly lost their temper now? Don't laugh at these ants. They are just middle-level stars. They don't know if they can touch the threshold of our galaxy level in this life. What's the use of having common knowledge with them? That's right, Rabbit, don't lower your self-esteem. Several galaxy-level people seem to have completely expected this rabbit-like behemoth to be able to restrain the cowherd and the other three in an instant, and were not surprised at all. Heh, I'm a bit of a chicken, that's what a few people said. This rabbit-like creature was suddenly a little confused by what others said. Just like all the galaxy-level ones in the entire galaxy, the appearance of this group of galaxy-level ones actually didn't even bother to take action against lower-level beings. But their power is real, and even their inaction is definitely not the will of their subordinates. These existences just don't do it themselves. Other star classes below, or even weaker fleet soldiers, well, it's just a matter of talking about it. Just like on one side of the battlefield, a coalition warship that had just been chased by the warships behind it had no way to go to the sky or the ground. At this time, it discovered that the Orion arm battleship chasing behind it was instantly shocked by the brainwave power of the Galaxy-class powerhouse. Unable to move, they were instantly excited. Kill me back. With the adults backing us up, we'll be fine. Haha, these mere aboriginal Orion-armed bastards actually dare to chase us like this. Wasn't it very majestic just now? Die now. The Orion arm battleship behind it quickly turned into a ball of flame under the gunfire of this more advanced enemy battleship. And this situation is not only happening here, but also happening in several other places. But those galaxy-level beings who consider themselves strong and are unwilling to take action themselves turn a blind eye to this. They would not take action themselves, but they would not stop their subordinates from taking action. In other words, even if their subordinates did not take action, they would still issue orders. After all, for them, the war just now was a bit embarrassing. Now, Jia Yan, will he come? When several galaxy-level beings gather together, others can't even see their shadows clearly. The galaxy level is too powerful. I don't know if he will come, but he will definitely be responsible for the current scene. After all, he started this war in the first place. Or, did he actually deliberately destroy the Orion arm before we tried to escape? This is very troublesome. No one thinks that Jia Yan really thought that their Orion arm could fight against the coalition forces, which is why this war happened. Because only those who are not fools, or people with eye problems, would not think that a primary galaxy existence would have any impact on 15 galaxy-level beings. The last clone battle was a bit shocking to the galaxy-level beings, but behind this shock, these galaxy-level people understood that Jia Yan's clone battle could only be said to be a shock at best. If his clone is really that powerful and has already appeared to fight. Moreover, clones also require energy to control. If they control one clone, at least their real body's mobility will be weakened. They absolutely don't believe that anyone can control several clones at the same time to fight. In fact, the galaxy-level beings who thought this way did not carefully study the scenes when Jia Yan fought against the biochemical star territory. Haha, Jia Yan, what can you do now? The rabbit-like galaxy-level being who revealed his true form looked at the Orion arm army battleships one after another from a distance, being smashed to pieces by the coalition battle on his side, and turned into dust in the starry sky, and he smiled instantly. In just a moment, the situation on the entire battlefield was reversed. Any one of the Galaxy class would turn such a battlefield into a reversal, not to mention that there would be more than one Galaxy class in this battlefield. Humph, what should I do? Just do it like this. When this rabbit-like creature said what he just said to himself, suddenly there was a certain earth-shattering sound inside a battleship that was being chased by an enemy battleship. Who? What? This. Several Galaxy-level people were shocked within a second. They all turned to look at the interstellar space where the movement was coming from. Although they have never heard Jia Yan's voice directly, they are familiar with it in the major recorded images. After all, he is a galaxy level, and he often kills other galaxy level evolved beasts. They still want to know the information. Have a clear grasp. So when this voice first appeared, they all made guesses about the identity of the voice's owner. Jia Yan. No, it's not Jia Yan, he's too weak. At this moment, the expressions of several galaxy-level powerhouses were tense for a moment, and then they suddenly recovered. The place where the sound came from was in a battleship hundreds of thousands of kilometers in front of them. This battleship was only a little more than 10 kilometers in size. Jia Yan was already a huge evolved beast of more than 30 kilometers. How could he stay there? Within this battleship. What's more, the sense of strength of this force gives them a very weak feeling. Even if it uses some kind of subspace shock, causing its power to achieve the effect of spreading across the entire battlefield, this cannot hide the feeling of power it exudes. It's only about half a star level. I understand, is it a clone? Jia Yan, get out of here. You dare not come here with your real body, so you sent a clone here. Do you want to watch your subordinates perish? Several galaxy-level people figured out the source of the sound and all of them sneered. At the same time, everyone in the battleship used their brainwave power or saw it with their own eyes to look at the half-star master who was sitting in the battleship. This mysterious master was specially placed on their battleship for this war. He was said to be the battleship's protector. He was no different from the strong men on other battleships. When the war was fierce just now, none of them saw this half-star powerhouse take action. Many battleship soldiers thought that this half-star level had given up. But now, none of them could believe it. They looked at the person who was gradually gaining momentum, making them unable to believe it. This is like they expected that the person in charge was a county magistrate, but when everyone thought that the person in charge was not good at government affairs and were a little disappointed, he suddenly stood up in a crisis and revealed his identity. He was the emperor. It's simply a surprise and a surprise. There was a creature next to this half-star leader, who was also a leader but whose strength was only at the peak of the supreme being. However, he couldn't accept such a thing for a while. Senior, please don't be impulsive. We are not able to participate in this kind of battle against the Galaxy class. The creature that slowly stood up from the battleship was a creature that was no different from a monkey. Hearing this, the monkey-like creature looked back at him, and at a glance, this venerable creature looked a little creepy. Haha, don't worry. I will clear the way for you to retreat. From now on, you can just retreat. The monkey-like creature shook his head and said this. Then, he opened the side door of the battleship and jumped out of the battleship. He is just a clone of Jia Yan. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1819. This master creature, is actually, Jia Yan, Master Jia Yan. Oh my god, were we on a battleship with Lord Jia Yan just now? I can't believe that Master Jia Yan actually spoke to us. In the battleship that the clone jumped out of, countless soldiers, as well as a few strong men in the battleship, all felt that the scene that happened in front of them was like a dream. This is a monkey-like creature. He was only a few hundred meters in size, less than a kilometer, but at this moment, he became the focus of the entire audience. If the same situation were placed on another half-star level powerhouse, and he was observed by so many galaxy level, star level, and even half-star level beings who were as powerful as himself, he would definitely have been there long ago. I was so scared that I couldn't help myself. But when it comes to this monkey-like creature, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Jia Yan. Is he Jia Yan's clone? A half-star clone is quite brave. This clone will at least require a lot of strength from him. Killing it will be a good thing for us. This Jia Yan actually dares to send a clone and dares to speak. He is seeking death. Several galaxy-level creatures did not have the slightest fear of Jia Yan's clone who volunteered to come out. On the contrary, they felt that this was because Jia Yan was a little desperate about the current battle situation, so he stepped out of a clone and wanted to save the battleship group. This also gave them some confidence to deal with Jia Yan again. After all, what they fear most is that when the battleship is frustrated, Jia Yan does not even need the battleships or the entire Orion arm and escapes alone. In that case, all their previous efforts will be wasted and they will not be able to get back their money. After all, the production of the Orion arm can be far from reaching the cost of dispatching the 15th major coalition forces. And they are not here for the territory or anything else, but to make themselves stronger. Even if there is financial reward, they will definitely be disappointed. But things are different now. In order to make the battleship group retreat, Jia Yan was even willing to send out a clone that was only half a star. This definitely surprised them, because it showed that Jia Yan still controlled the Orion arm. Haha, you guys, didn't you come to my Orion arm just to meet me? Now that I'm out, you can say whatever you want. The monkey-like creature transformed by Jia Yan flew out of the universe silently. It seemed that it was not afraid of the galaxy-level creatures that were everywhere in the universe. It even seemed to travel through space in the subspace, and in an instant it was in front of a galaxy-level creature. It was like asking him directly. Humph, Jia Yan, if you were here in person, you might be on equal footing with us. We would respect you a little, but now you are just a clone. Why do we need to respect you? Don't rely on your own strength. If we want to kill a semi-star level clone like you, we can say that it will be effortless. Really? Then you can try it. Jia Yan looked at this galaxy-level being indifferently, as if his current avatar was also a galaxy-level being, sizing up this creature as an equal. At the same time, under Jia Yan's secret instructions, the entire Orion Arms warships and powerful men present began to retreat. After hesitating for a while, those galaxy-level beings did not order their subordinates to pursue them. Because their idea is to deal with Jia Yan, and the way to force Jia Yan to appear in person is to cause excessive losses to the Orion arm, but now is definitely not a good time. They need to force Jia Yan's true body step by step. Let those warships escape at this time, and then they kill Jia Yan's clone. Then there will be a certain chance to force Jia Yan's real body out when they continue to crush inside the Orion arm. This is called pressing every step of the way. Oh! Jia Yan's clone looked at the group of battleships behind him. He was not being pursued by the enemy fleet, and he immediately understood what they were thinking. But such an idea is definitely not a bad thing for Jia Yan. He dared to use the clone to appear, but it didn't mean that he had any confidence that the clone would escape unscathed. But at least, he knew that after his avatar mastered the meteorite fighting method, it would definitely not be without the slightest possibility of confrontation against a galaxy-level being, so he promised that what would happen later would definitely be very interesting. They will probably regret not wiping out some of our effective forces in the Orion arm. Jia Yan thought with a slight smile. Jia Yan, we came to your Orion arm for no other reason. It was just because you were a little rebellious against our galaxy-level existence when you were at the stellar level, so we are going to teach you a lesson. Now the lesson is almost here. As long as you show up in person and admit your mistake to us, we will forgive you. A monster that looked like a pig said this to Jia Yan. Jia Yan looked at the pig monster not far away from him in surprise. What are you looking at? He asked a little annoyed. In my home planet, there is an animal called a pig. It is very stupid and always asks funny questions without any sense of brains. Jia Yan responded to him calmly. Then what does this have to do with you looking at me? The other party was indeed very cooperative and asked what Jia Yan wanted him to ask. Jia Yan smiled. Your Excellency looks very much like the pigs in our hometown. It's just that you're a lot bigger and you're probably a lot stupider. How could I possibly believe that you just want to chat? You, bastard. The pig monster listened for a long time before he realized that Jia Yan was calling him stupid, and he suddenly became angry. He wanted to take action, but other creatures on the other side stopped him. Your Excellency Jia Yan, this is just a clone. We can't win against him. So, Jia Yan, your clone only needs to fight with one of us. You can choose who. After the fight, it won't matter if you die. Complain. Oh, Your Excellency is quite a nice person. In this case, I won't choose. This pig sir wants to play with me, so I'll fight him. Jia Yan took a deep look at the pig-like creature again. Asshole, I'm not a pig. The pig monster looked ugly and rushed forward in an instant. For him, Jia Yan's clone chose him, which is also a good answer. After all, as a galaxy level, among so many galaxy levels, he is actually just a primary galaxy existence with relatively average strength. If he was the one who killed the first Jia Yan clone in a battle, he would also receive a certain share of merit in the future. Of course, his head won't really hurt like a pig, it's just a little impulsive. Are you coming? Jia Yan's monkey-like clone looked at the pig-like monster that was more than 30 kilometers away and rushed towards him like a building. He let out a sigh of relief. For him, it is indeed impossible for a clone to be that strong. Using only the power infused by the clone to fight against the enemy, and also against a galaxy-level being, would be like a joke. There was absolutely no chance of winning, but Jia Yan knew that his strength, or the clone's trump card, was far beyond the clone's own strength. His clone actually has a certain amount of fighting power, and its biggest trump card comes from the meteorite given by his real body. Phew. Jia Yan didn't even hide too much, because the clone was not strong enough. Even if he wanted to hide, how could he avoid the speed of a galaxy-level being with a speed of half a star? Even retreating into the subspace is useless. The clone's subspace performance can easily be destroyed by a galaxy-level being. After all, the level difference between the two parties is too big. So he simply used his biggest trump card, or the only possible way to fight with a galaxy level. An earth-shattering piece of tiny meteorite flew out of the subspace instantly like lightning. At this moment, the galaxy absolute beings who were watching the battle all around were keenly aware of a fluctuation in the subspace. Oh, I see. Could it be that Jia Yan's clone relied on an object in subspace? The people in Jia Yan's team used similar methods just now, and the previous war report also mentioned some weird powers. Could it be this kind of thing? Humph, these are definitely things that Jia Yan personally made and swallowed, and they are objects that can be temporarily preserved and then lent to other creatures. I see, this is the reason why Jia Yan dares to resist us, but whether this thing is useful to us now depends on the next result. Several galaxy-level beings have long known that Jia Yan used such an object from the subspace. After all, they also understand that even if Jia Yan's clone is only a half-star, it will definitely not be an ordinary half-star. Of course, they will never think that Jia Yan's half-star, what impact can it have on a galaxy-level person, and even if there is a star peak, they don't really think that a half-star level clone of Jia Yan can cause huge damage to him. They are now sending a galaxy-level clone to fight Jia Yan's clone. The first reason is to reduce the risk, because they have sent a stellar peak being to fight. After all, the enemy is a galaxy-level clone, and there is a slight possibility of failure. Not only would they lose a capable subordinate, but they would also lose their face greatly. In other words, they had long been prepared for what kind of killer weapon this clone would use, but they never expected that it would be some kind of substance inside the subspace. Be careful, don't get disgraced by such a little thing. A galaxy-level being gave a teasing reminder to the pig monster rushing towards Jia Yan. Go away, do you want to laugh at me? If I have to be careful when dealing with a clone, wouldn't I be weaker than you? I am stronger than you. Tell me, I'm not as strong as you. The two galaxy-level beings, after all, were galaxy-level beings. They were actually able to use the power of brain waves to communicate among the lightning and flint. You must know that from the perspective of Jia Yan's clone, he has no time at all. At this moment, he can't think about unnecessary things. After all, he is at the semi-star level, and his brain cannot move fast enough. Of course, even if the clone fails, the real body is still electric and can think of many things. At this moment, Jia Yan used the strongest explosive power of the meteorite. In other words, he used the strongest explosive method that his clone could use. If you want to use something like a gun barrel to fully maximize its explosive power, what can you do? In fact, this practice still exists. Just like the heavenly cowherd and the others, using Jia Yan's meteorite to fight, the effect is much stronger than that of other stellar classes. Using Jia Yan's meteorite, the explosive effect of this meteorite, even if the power is the same, is much stronger than that of other star-level meteorites. The effect of the explosion in the hands of Yan's clone is definitely completely different from that of Ten Cowherd and the others. The method Jia Yan chose was to gradually activate the yin and yang dao inside the meteorite in the subspace. The power of yin and yang makes this already very active meteorite explode with terrifying force in an instant, as if it has set off a fuse. But Jia Yan used the power of subspace to lock its power again. This time, it's like compression. Moreover, Jia Yan also adjusted the direction of the burst between lines. Several relatively complex adjustment moments make the explosive force explode with all its power in a short period of time. Although the total energy of the explosion is not strong, it is like gunpowder being directed in a certain direction, and it was compressed, so the power of the explosion and the degree of terror in a fixed direction were increased by more than one level. The pig-headed monster hasn't finished laughing yet. Puff. An object that seemed relatively weak and didn't have much light or heat shadow rushed towards the pig-headed monster like a bullet coming out of the barrel. It is impossible to describe how fast he is. Even at this moment, it is possible that he accelerates to a few tenths of the speed of light. Although Jia Yan and the others move at the speed of light, in fact their attack speed, or the feeling of fighting, is still far from the speed of light. After all, creatures are creatures, just like some physics the law can never break the theory of the speed of light. The attack speed of a creature, no matter how powerful it is, can hardly be said to reach the speed of light. Even the galaxy level is the same. It can be seen how terrifying this extremely fast bullet that Jia Yan burst out is. You know, once an object reaches the speed of light, or is infinitely close to the speed of light, the kinetic energy it carries will be terrifying and unimaginable. Although the bullet fired by Jia Yan was not at the speed of light, its kinetic energy was also terrifying. To be continued. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1820. If a planet is bombed by it, a large hole may appear in that planet instantly. It may even be a single blow, because the core of the planet will be greatly damaged, causing the entire planet to explode from the inside. What? So fast? How can this be? What exactly is the thing in the space this time? Everyone has different effects when using it. The surrounding galaxy-level creatures were all extremely shocked by the combat things in this dimension that Jia Yan used. Generally speaking, the galaxy class can collapse without changing their appearance. Especially in battle, there is almost nothing that can shock them. After all, for low-level galaxy-level beings, no matter how talented they are in tactics or combat, it is just like children playing around. As for those at the galaxy level or even higher, they will know who is strong and who is weak through simple level judgment, and of course there will be nothing that should surprise them. Yes, the galaxy level is indeed a bit boring, because at their level, there is not much fun anymore, and level determines everything. But today, they once again felt the surprise that could only be felt in low-level situations. The clone of a galaxy-level being actually used a powerful attack that shocked even their galaxy-level counterparts. But that's about it. The expression of the galaxy class who was counterattacked by Jia Yan changed slightly, and then he reacted extremely quickly and ducked to the side. Then he narrowly escaped the blow from Jia Yan's clone. But I still broke out in a cold sweat. The casual attack that had been brewing for a while became unable to be unleashed, which made him extremely embarrassed. He said earlier that he looked down on Jia Yan's clone, but he was slapped in the face in the blink of an eye. Jia Yan's clone was so terrifying. He became serious. You must know that Jia Yan's clone is only half-star level. If it is placed on another similar strong person, he will not only have no regard for that strong person, but may even kill the other person with a look. But now, the Jia Yan clone who stood calmly and proudly in front of him actually put a little pressure on him. Don't be scared by him. This guy just used external force. If Jia Yan wants to create such a substance, he will definitely have to spend a lot of energy. If you continue to fight him, he will definitely not have more similar trump cards. There were several more Galaxy-class people around, and they suddenly spoke like this to the pig-headed Galaxy-class person who was attacking Jia Yan. Yes, he definitely doesn't have many such methods. After all, for a star level and a half, to do this once is enough to be earth-shattering. Even if he is the clone of a galaxy-level existence, his body is at most it's just a little stronger than our single body. No matter how strong it is, it's impossible for the clones to be this strong. This pig-headed monster suddenly felt reassured. Who? His pig's trotters flashed like a phantom in an instant. In 1 second, they crossed hundreds of kilometers and attacked Jia Yan in an instant. Jia Yan's clone's reflexes were naturally not that strong. This time he encountered a similar feeling as before. His real body could react and sense it, but his clone couldn't react to anything. Puff. Jia Yan repeated his old trick, and another stream of forward and reverse meteorite materials made of meteorites flew out of the subspace. Then this material instantly formed some kind of cavity effect, and in less than 0,00,000 seconds, a bomb with a core was fired. Bang! This was the slight sound of a bullet that seemed to exceed the speed of light and cut through space. Once the speed reaches a certain level, there will be very little movement, and even the shockwave of the explosion itself seems to be silent. It's this thing again, damn it! With such a fast speed, even though it didn't seem to have any terrible damage, no one dared to let it attack him. The pig-headed galaxy-level being suddenly did not dare to take a hard hit and refused to attack Jia Yan. Instead going backwards. His mentality is easy to understand, although he also knows that if he risks being hit by such fast bullets and attacks Jia Yan, then he can definitely kill Jia Yan with one blow. But then he might be hit by such a fast bullet, and he might even be slightly injured, and then he would be a little embarrassed. After all, he is a galaxy-level being, and he is dealing with the clone of another Xi-level being. As a result, even one of the clones can injure himself. That would be very despising for him. So he doesn't want to get hurt. Little did he know that such an action also caused him to greatly lose his reputation. This pighead actually beat up a clone like this. I don't care whether he is injured or not. I can just kill him with one strike. There are so many subordinates watching around. Yes, I also think this guy is a little timid. Is it true that as Jia Yan's clone said just now, he is somewhat similar to the stupid animals on the earth? Oh, don't say that in front of others. He will definitely be angry. The chatter around them said that they didn't want to say it face to face, but in fact they had no hidden thoughts at all. When they heard the pig-headed galaxy-level being, they suddenly became angry. He wanted to take action just now, and everyone asked him to do it. Now something is wrong, and they are all sarcastic. You can do it, come and give it a try. Puff. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1821. How is this possible, one clone, and only one clone? I don't believe that a half-star level clone can kill a galaxy-level clone. God, it's going to change. If he is really so scary, God will definitely change. Several major galaxy-level beings, at this moment, looked at the place where both parties could be said to have perished together, with messy expressions on their faces, almost wanting to question their own lives. After all, they know from their long-standing knowledge that there is no existence in the galaxy except for those below the galaxy level who can threaten the powerful ones at the galaxy level. Even the clones of high-level and even peak existences at the galaxy level have never appeared. If they don't reach the galaxy level, they will crush and kill the galaxy level powerhouses. But now, Jia Yan's body is just a primary being of the galaxy. He actually used a half-star level clone to kill a galaxy level person. Although he also paid the price of the half-star level clone, anyone with a discerning eye can see everyone knows who has paid more. A clone for a galaxy class. It was a huge amount of money, and it was just a half-star clone. Asshole, this Jia Yan must be conducting some evil research. Otherwise, why would he be just a junior galaxy, and he could use a half-star clone to kill a galaxy level? If he had his skills and combat power, how could he kill a galaxy level clone? Aren't they all his clones that have the ability to threaten us? It's simply treacherous. This kind of existence really shouldn't be left in the world. That's not right. His kind of victory definitely requires a huge effort, otherwise it would be impossible to achieve this effect. How can the galaxy level be so easy to kill? Let's go back first and see what's going on. Yes, there are also galaxy level participants in several other routes. Let's go back and check their intelligence. As these galactic level powerhouses spoke, they retreated to the star area occupied by their subordinates. For them, at this moment, it was really a bit panicky. If Jia Yan is just a single person, no matter how strong he is only one person. But if he is a clone, he has a chance to kill them. Even if there are any restrictions, they will not dare to pursue them anymore, because if they encounter him again a clone, then one of them might have to pay the price. This also led to the 3 members of Jia Yan's team and the Orion Arm fleet successfully escaping one after another and becoming witnesses of this battle. You must know that this is a battle between galaxy-level creatures. Originally, most of them would never dream of seeing a galaxy-level creature in their lifetime. However, they did not expect that the other side would send out so many galaxy-level creatures. The clone subordinates who didn't arrive fled in despair. This is not a legend, but a miracle. So it can be imagined that when these creatures go back, they will definitely spread Jia Yan's achievements in this battle to the entire Orion Arm in an instant, and then use the Orion Arm as the center point to spread it to nearby and even more distant star fields. It is not an exaggeration to say that the effect of Jia Yan's battle shocked the entire galaxy. You know, this has broken the concept that everyone in the entire galaxy has maintained for so many years. Although he is also a galaxy level himself, his clone is still only a half-star level. No matter what method he uses, the results are definitely shocking. From now on, probably all living things in the galaxy will completely abandon the idea that the galaxy level is supreme. There may also be some changes in the originally solidified thoughts. Of course, all this depends on the Orion Arm, whether there will be other results in the future. Otherwise, with this kind of results, many people will definitely not believe it. All in all, this battle was terrible. And it's not just the battle that's scary. In fact, not long after this one happened. In the battlefield on the other side, Jia Yan's team was forced by several Galaxy-class players and fell into a precarious state. Another big dog-like clone of Jia Yan appeared. Boom boom. After several loud noises, under the disbelieving gazes of everyone, including the 2 Galaxy-class beings, the clone died together with the Galaxy-class who attacked it. I just received a message saying that we should be careful about Jia Yan, because his clone is too scary. He has already died together on the other side, and the pig head is also dead. How is it possible? Just forget it once and do it twice? No, we need to notify them in other battlefields quickly and let them take action together. This clone is weird. Presumably they should have received the information by now, but I can't guarantee that they will listen to the advice, or they may have already started fighting. The treatment here is the same. When the remaining galaxy-level beings felt extremely afraid of Jia Yan's clone, they no longer pursued the Orion arm fleet, but chose to retreat. They were also afraid of running into other Jia Yan clones. If they had only dealt with Jia Yan before, but now they saw that each of Jia Yan's clones could cause great harm to them, then they became afraid and began to feel a strong sense of fear. No one knows how many clones Jia Yan has, and even within Orion's arms, no one will pay attention to this problem. Therefore, they are worried that if Jia Yan's clones are arranged everywhere in the entire Orion arm, then if they chase him, maybe another clone will jump out of the battleship later, then one of them may die again. 1. No, they reported back and said they received the information too late and a comrade died. This clone is simply unbelievable. Come on, let's get everyone together, and call the adults over. We need to discuss how to deal with Jia Yan's clone. He actually died in one battle. 3 galaxy-level people, even without even seeing Jia Yan himself, this is simply incredible. Each of the several galaxy-level beings remained silent as they continued to receive news that other galaxy-level beings had died. More than one person had the thought of retreating in his mind. But at least on the surface, they didn't say it. After all, if they said it at this time, they might lose everything. But the arrangements behind it seemed to be carried out secretly by most of the galaxy-level powerhouses. This war was the first largest-scale battle in which the Orion arm sounded the slogan of counterattack. It could even be said that it was the most terrifying all-out war after the two sides fought hand-to-hand. It was also the first time that the Galaxy-class battleships directly participated. The result made those who watched the scene of the war, all other forces and star regions were stunned. The result turned out to be the seemingly weaker aspect of the Orion arm, which completely won. Impossible. The Orion arm killed 3 galaxy-level people in one go? And it was all done by the clone of Lord Jia Yan. I don't believe it. No matter how strong a galactic-level warrior is, he only fights and flees with his opponent. He actually uses his clones to kill 3 enemies without even showing up in his own body? I absolutely don't believe this. Seeking trouble. Yes, we can't believe Orion Arm's own words. Let's go and ask the coalition forces. Someone from the coalition forces has already asked, but their external spokesperson remains silent. Holy crap, silence is equivalent to acquiescence. Oh my god, is the Orion arm really that strong? No, it's Jia Yan. Is it really that strong? The sky has changed. As a result, this war will turn completely in favor of the Orion arm. The number of troops is not as large as that of the Orion arm. Now even the strong ones are no longer good. What can they use to fight the Orion arm? Who the hell is that Jia Yan? It feels like one person can deal with a group of galaxy-level people at the same level. He is an evolved beast, this is an evolved beast. It's really scary. Around the Orion arm, there were many strong men or forces who were watching this battle. When it came out that Jia Yan actually killed 3 galaxy-level strong men at the cost of several clones, everyone was shocked. There was an uproar. After all, this is too dreamy. No one would believe it. A mere elementary-level galaxy-level being, even if he is very talented and has several precedents of killing galaxy-level beings, can definitely deal with so many galaxy-level beings. Death without a burial place. But the reality slapped them in the face. Not only ordinary creatures, but also several galaxy-level powerhouses who were secretly observing were so frightened at this moment that they even hid their figures better. He can deal with the galaxy level regardless of his avatar. If there is one nearby now, wouldn't I be in danger? That's what all galaxy class think. They might not be too afraid of Jia Yan alone. After all, he is just a person. Even if he reaches the middle level of the galaxy, or even the domain lord level, he is still alone. In a star field that has not mastered the clone technology, even if it has a domain master, it is often difficult to expand its power. This is because the domain leader is only one person. If they have a clone, it will be different, especially those who have reached the galaxy level. The clone is equivalent to the territory lord having a super terrifying primary helper at the galaxy level. Of course, the terrifying degree of Jia Yan's clone exposed in the scene is far more jaw-dropping. This is not a clone, it is completely a super clone. Even the clone of the domain lord has difficulty, but he has done it. Using only half-star level clones to kill galaxy level people, even if they both die together, makes people feel like they are living in a dream world. With the manufacturing technology of semi-star level clones, not to mention the powerful civilization, even an ordinary civilization can produce them. In other words, if Jia Yan wanted it, he could have as many semi-star clones as he wanted. Even though everyone knows that if Jia Yan wants to use his clone to kill the galaxy class, he will definitely have to pay a certain price, but he still cannot hide the terrifying nature of his clone. As a result, with the powerful forces from all over the country dumbfounded, countless people in the Orion Arm who achieved military exploits in this battle were rewarded. Then, the Orion Arm made a sound again. Comprehensive counterattack. Compared with the momentum of the last time, the momentum of this comprehensive counterattack is completely different from the unilateral struggling and screaming of the Orion Arm. This time, not only the people and soldiers in the Orion Arm's own star domain are convinced of this, but their enthusiasm is high. Even all the forces and strong men in the surrounding star domains are fighting back against this matter and feel that they are against it. Orion Arm is full of confidence. Even their enemies, that is, the coalition army full of galaxy-level powerhouses, were instantly stunned at this moment, and then completely began to shrink. That's right, the coalition forces are beginning to be afraid. They no longer look at a weak civilization and feel that the Orion Arm controls their life and death. But there is something about the Orion Arm that makes them feel terrified. Fortunately, at least, the coalition forces still have a Dingai Shenzhen. That is the strong man who has reached the middle level of the galaxy. Sir, what kind of trick did Jia Yan use to kill all his galaxy-level comrades? Now our military morale is at a loss. If you don't come forward, our coalition might be doomed. Yes, sir, to be honest with you, if you didn't go out to fight, I don't know about others. I myself was the first to leave with my team. Although the loss was so heavy, at least I still wanted to save my life. Several star-level powerhouses were begging for help from the tall figure on the other side of the virtual projection where they were meeting. There was nothing they could do. On their own, this group of people who have witnessed the fighting power of Orion Arm Jia Yan's clone no longer dare to think that they can deal with Jia Yan. They may even, like other strong men, was killed by Jia Yan's clone. So they had no choice but to invite the biggest backer behind them. That mid-level galaxy existence. You guys have disappointed me a bit. The mid-level galaxy creature silently looked at the several primary-level galaxy experts in the virtual projection. He believed that if he were personally by his side, this group of elementary beings from the galaxy would never dare to tell him the truth like this. It is precisely because they are actually far away from him that they dare to speak out their innermost thoughts. But even if he felt a little offended, he did know that if he didn't take action and catch or kill Jia Yan personally, the coalition this time might collapse. After all, everyone came with the mentality that they could easily crush Orion's arm. Some people didn't even prepare any logistics when they came, thinking that this was a battle that could be easily ended. However, as the war raged on, the weak posture of the Orion Arm changed more and more. The general counterattack a few days ago killed 3 Galaxy-class members, the real mainstay of their coalition, in just one battle. Including the guy who left first, the 16th Galaxy-level coalition forces, at this moment only the 12th were left. It would be a bit silly not to take the Orion Arm seriously. But this mid-level galaxy being still didn't show any emotion at all. Because he has confidence, and this confidence is his own strength. Humph, you guys, don't worry, I will take action, but before that, I want you to recognize one fact, that is, Jia Yan's clone is not invincible. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1822. That strange and huge creature was absolutely right. If Jia Yan's clone was that scary, he would have already started to fight back and wouldn't wait until now. Next, you will form a group of 5. If his clone appears, you will kill him directly. And I think that even if his true body appears, you 5 powerful people will definitely be able to resist it. Then wait until I appear. Kill his true form, then everything will be fine. The idea of this creature is very simple and violent. But this method is often the most effective method. After all, for all strong people, the most effective thing is their own strength. Crushing with strength is the choice of most strong people. Conspiracy and trickery are of no use to the strong. Even Jia Yan does not like to use conspiracy at all, unless the gap in strength is too big. And the battle situation between the two sides really required him to do that, so Jia Yan would not hesitate to use certain tactics. A group of galaxy-level biological powerhouses listened to the words of the intergalactic being and began to form teams one by one and patrol everywhere. For them, the previous simple team formation can certainly not continue. They originally thought that the war did not require them to truly use their team strength to compete with Jia Yan. But now, they have seriously realized that Jia Yan is definitely not someone they can deal with without forming a team. So they began to form an extremely strict team, and even had to carefully distinguish the strength of their teammates, their proficiency in fighting methods, etc., so that they could optimize the combination and create the best cooperation. Under this extremely strict organizational division of labor, small teams composed of galaxy-level powerhouses were born. If it were revealed that there were still 12 galaxy-level beings left, and the reason for forming the team was actually a mere mid-level galaxy-level being, it might shock others and even ridicule this group of creatures. But in fact, galaxy-level powerhouses would never dare to be ridiculed. Even other galaxy-level powerhouses would not laugh at them immediately when they hear such news. Instead, they would immediately know, the galaxy-level powerhouse they faced definitely had some background. After all, everyone is a galaxy level, and almost everyone knows the strength of the galaxy level. It requires a group of galaxy level to join forces to deal with the galaxy primary level, and it will definitely not be a simple existence. And just when the galaxy level beings in this area began to prepare to join forces to fight against the enemy, far away in another starry sky, within the Orion Arm, as well as within the native Starfield International, large swathes of starfields have been recovered by the Orion Arm army. Because the coalition forces were massively defeated, the Orion Arm coalition naturally regained the planet in an extremely simple manner. Under such circumstances, the entire Orion Arm felt like it was the new year, and countless people were rejoicing, especially for Jia Yan, the strongest man who even now has not revealed his true body. Everyone thinks that he is the protector of the entire star territory. Even the members of the 9 major Jia Yan teams were slightly more famous than the strongest man who never showed up. But now that he appears, whether it is privately or privately, what we are talking about is still talking about on the internet. All the topics are Jia Yan. That's right, everyone knows that except Jia Yan, no one can turn the tide in this war. Even before, no one really thought that Jia Yan would be the galaxy class who could turn the tide. After all, there are 16 enemies. I was still thinking before that the ancestor would ask the race behind him to come forward, haha, but now it seems that I have thought too much. What is the race behind him? This brother, I guess you haven't understood the ancestor. Well, I won't say more. Just make you happy. In short, The ancestor is so powerful that he can make those 10. There are only 12 of the 6 galactic level armies left, and 4 of them were gone in one go. Haha, this is really satisfying for us. It's just that the coalition's previous arrogance has disappeared in one breath, and now they are running away so fast. On a planet that had just been recovered and had not been extensively destroyed, groups of people were extremely relieved to be rescued. And among this group of creatures talking about the ancestor of the giant mosquito, there was a creature that looked like an earthling sitting silently on the side, feeling everything around him. Yes, the atmosphere here is like a very peaceful planet. No one can tell that this place has just been rescued and that there has been massacre and destruction in the past. This humanoid creature is naturally a clone of Jiayan, and a clone of an earthling. However, his appearance is different from that of an ordinary earthling, and he looks like a frail little scholar. It was already a month after the war. Neither side started fighting again during this period. The other side needed time to adjust, but Jiayan didn't need time to adjust. Several clones seemed to have defeated many galactic-level powerhouses, but Jiayan himself knew that this victory was a bit of a fluke. The victory was because the enemy was not prepared for the strength of his clones or the trump cards he had. If something like this happened next time, be prepared. If you use long-range attacks, then Jiayan's clone will not be able to get a favor, and may even be killed remotely. So Jiayan also has to solve these problems. What's more, his avatar wasted a lot of meteorites, especially the kind of meteorites that can kill the galaxy level, which is extremely difficult for Jiayan to make. The larger the explosive meteorite, the shorter the time it can be stored. After 1 month, the explosive power of the super-large meteorite has been consumed less than half of what it was at the beginning. But refining it will take a lot of time, and there is no guarantee that there will be a war after refining it. This is a waste of time for Jiayan. Therefore, his clone has been wandering around recently, while receiving intelligence from the outside world, and also to see if the coalition forces are preparing to start a war. Fortunately, it seemed that the opponent did not have the idea of starting the war again in such a short time, so Jiayan was happy to continue taking a rest. After all, the previous refining and letting the clones fight also wasted a lot of his strength. Our Orion arm will never give up these lost planets. If there is a war next time, I will take action directly. The effect of using clones is good, then I will keep using clones to fight. Anyway, I will fight with others, it's different. There are many clones. Although the death of one clone is a blow to my body, it is much better than the severe damage to other people's vitality. He silently observed the left and right. But a certain voice made Jiayan become a little solemn. I heard that there is a very powerful mid-level galaxy being in the coalition forces. I wonder if the ancestors can deal with it. Haha, you are stupid. The ancestor is now able to deal with a primary level and intermediate level being of the galaxy with only his clones. The strength of the ancestor is definitely something that the ancestor can deal with. Don't you understand? Is Zio the king of cross-level battles? That's right, the ancestor has always been able to fight across levels, so there is no need to worry about his combat effectiveness. The talking creatures were sitting on the street eating delicious food, chatting and enjoying themselves. However, the speakers did not mean it, but the listeners did. Jiayan heard them talking about an intermediary star. In fact, even Jiayan knew that there must be a mid-level galaxy creature to deal with. Even if he didn't show up, Jiayan knew who the opponent was. The ruler of a huge star field that is more than 1,300 light-years away. His strength is much stronger than that of many primary stars. Jiayan silently analyzed the strength of this mid-level galaxy powerhouse. For him, things are far from being as simple as others say. If you are not at the galaxy level, you will not understand the strength gap between the galaxy levels. As mentioned before, the level difference between galaxies is not so much the level difference between the galaxy level and the internal level of the galaxy. It is better to say that there is a big level difference, like from the star level to the galaxy level, or half-star level to star level, or venerable to half-star level or something like that. This level difference is absolute, and the galaxy level is full of such gaps. Just like there is only one small level difference between the primary level galaxy and the intermediate level galaxy, but most of the primary level creatures of galaxy will be trapped in the primary level galaxy for their whole lives. This is because the strength of the intermediate level galaxy is different from that of galaxy. The initial level is too strong. The beings who have reached the primary level of the galaxy all dream of reaching the intermediate level, but even so, most of them still completely fail despite using endless resources. And why does everyone want to reach the mid-level? It is because the intermediate level is still much stronger than the elementary level, and it is crushingly strong. Although Jia Yan also had strength and was even famous for his cross-level battles before, he still had no confidence in the face of a mid-level star. Forget it, I have worked hard until now, am I just a mid-level galaxy existence? I will definitely have a chance to defeat it. Jia Yan is no longer sure about his own strength because he relies too much on explosive meteorites. This kind of thing is like a pistol. It is very powerful. Even when used in its own body, it is much stronger than when used as a clone. But if the gun cannot hit the enemy, or the user is stupid, it will not have much effect. The uncertainty factor is too strong. Jia Yan doesn't want to really fight with a mid-level strongman from the galaxy, but there is no way. The other party is looking for Jia Yan. What can he do? Forget it, let's go. Jia Yan sat silently in the store, left his money and left quietly. Jia Yan already likes the atmosphere of Orion Arm more and more. This entire star field seems to be in line with Jia Yan's preferences, constantly changing. Just like Jia Yan likes the atmosphere of ancient China on Earth. Although he didn't say much, after praising an ancient town on Earth, the entire star field began to be affected by this ancient town. Many antique buildings are in the star field, they either directly copy it, or they transform it in a way suitable for life on their own planet to create that kind of charm and then build it. In this way, in all the Orion Arm planets, you can often see Chinese-like buildings, and even certain ancient Chinese ideas are spread in the starry sky. Many pre-Chinese novels were spread across the stars. Therefore, China in the Earth Alliance, a place that does not seem to have much influence on the entire star territory, has actually become an extremely famous cultural scene in the star territory. There are even some people from the outside world who want to see a certain person inside China. These landscapes, no matter how hard they work, have traveled from very distant planets to the Earth. It has to be said that this is something Jia Yan also wants to see. The technology and combat power of the people on Earth are still insufficient, but if they can influence the entire star field economically and culturally, then even if Jia Yan leaves the star field, or even leaves the galaxy, people on Earth may still be able to live a better life in the future. On a good day, at least it won't be wiped out in an instant. Of course, if Jia Yan really leaves, it is unknown whether the Earth Alliance will retain its current influence. But we'll have to wait until then. Jia Yang never knows when he will think of leaving. Maybe not leaving, but dying. Jia Yan smiled self-deprecatingly in his heart and then, he became solemn. He didn't know if thinking so much was some kind of signal. In short, his next enemies would become more and more powerful. He could faintly feel it. In addition to the coalition forces, there seemed to be something more powerful. A terrifying look fell on him. I don't know, it's other mid-level powerhouses in the galaxy, or what about the domain owner? Jia Yan shuddered. In short, the first thing I have to face is this enemy. If I can deal with this enemy, then I will think about the next direction, how to develop or how to continue to improve my strength. It's time to put it on the table. Jia Yan has always been thinking about how he should develop after reaching a good level of the primary level of the galaxy level. In the future, like most of the galaxy level, he will stay in his own star domain, wait for tribute, and then continue to practice strength, find an opportunity, and then attack to the middle level of the galaxy, then the domain master. This may be boring, but in fact, this is how most galaxy-class people spend their lives. Of course there is another option, and it is also a choice that Jia Yan is a little excited about. But these are things for later. I won't think about him until I resolve the current matter. Jia Yan has been constantly raising his demands on himself. Even after reaching the current galaxy level, he still has a strong sense of crisis. So many senior evolved beasts have fallen above the galaxy level before. Even territory lord level like Senior Tianji, and even extremely powerful creatures among territory lords, have all died. Jia Yan, who has only reached the primary level of galaxy evolved beasts, naturally don't have the slightest bit of self-confidence. The sense of crisis is still extremely strong. Okay, I'll focus on my body first, practice my strength, and then make more explosive meteorites. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1823. The next research direction is how to prevent their power from disappearing so quickly. If this can be done, I can imagine that when I meet a master, countless meteorites will explode and scatter, and the opponent will be blown away by me. The picture is gone, haha. The biggest problem with Jia Yan's current research is time control. The power of this meteorite explosion is actually the most terrifying in the first second of its birth. It is not an exaggeration to say that the sky is shattering and the earth is shattering. But in fact, it is impossible to fight the enemy as soon as it is created, so even the ones used by Jia Yan's clones are all versions that were wasted for at least half a month and consume a lot of energy. If the power of the meteorite explosion can be maintained for a longer period of time, then Jia Yan will be able to produce a large number of positive and antimatter explosive meteorites, instead of worrying about wasting time when the time expires and not using them, so he only produces them in small batches. Of course, the idea is good, but it is not that simple to actually implement it. If it were that simple, Jia Yan wouldn't waste so much time and still have a headache over it. Forget it, if it doesn't work, I'll still research and make the original meteorite explosives. Even I didn't expect that the effect would be so good. Jia Yan was not originally prepared to use this kind of exploding meteorite as his biggest trump card, but now he sees that this kind of trump card is really his biggest trump card now, just like when he used man-made black holes. Now this kind of trump card is really his biggest trump card. Meteorite creations are more effective than man-made black holes, so they instantly became Jia Yan's trump card. He has used many kinds of trump cards throughout his life, changing the method every time, but he has not become accustomed to it at all. After all, for Jia Yan, his strength has been changing rapidly, so his trump cards or methods have been changing, which is not too surprising. And Jia Yan has thought about something, that is, for him, the biggest difference between his strength and others is not these trump cards, but his identity as an evolved beast. Even the identity of the evolved beast may not be the biggest difference. The biggest difference may be that he also has the voice of an earthling. If my improvement in strength and thinking mode are not related to me as a human on Earth, then I may be prone to errors in some basic ideas of thinking, and I may not have such strong endurance. So ultimately, it is still mine. There's something going on inside the people of Earth. After Jia Yan thought of this, he continued his research. He was waiting. The enemy had not moved for more than half a year, so he continued to lie dormant, because he knew that the enemy still did not give up attacking him. If a stellar mid-level creature really takes action, I would be a little worried. But that's it. Who is strong and who is weak will only know if you actually reach out. The fact that Jia Yan is in subspace is already well known to the enemies or the creatures inside the Orion Arm. But no one knew his specific location, not even the mysterious units that regularly sent news signals to Jia Yan. They also didn't know where the strongest man in Orion's arms was. It's just that his pure character has been unable to be shaken due to the fact that in the last battle, several of his body resisted the Galaxy class and killed 3 of the Galaxy class in a group. The others fled one by one. Everyone has his own Mosquito ancestor deep in his heart, not only in the hearts of ordinary people, but also in the hearts of high-level officials. It may even be different for everyone. But at least one thing is that senior Mosquito ancestor, in everyone's mind, is a senior who saves people in need. This is absolutely correct. Haha, the ancestor's strength is really astounding. I was also present in the last war, and the distance was very close. His clone was less than a few kilometers away from the enemy, but it was only a few meters taller than others. 10 or even a few 100%, but still unfazed. With a wave of his finger, a galaxy-level person died. It's a pity that his clone also died. It's already very powerful. A clone of about half a star level can kill a galaxy-level powerhouse. Even the professors in our college feel that this is a miracle. That's right, we college students just don't know how senior Mosquito ancestor did it. We all wish we could come to the army and learn the military version of Yin Yang Tao. A group of Orion Arm Academy students have become newly promoted Orion Arm Fleet soldiers. They are all listening to the veterans talking about what they saw half a year ago. You must know that the Mosquito ancestor is in the Orion Arm and the biochemical star field. Although everyone knows that he is not a god, he is no different from a god. Even the galaxy level can drive them away in groups. What is this if not a god? What's more, even if you regard the existences of the galaxy level as gods, it is not too much. Have you not seen that in the great realm of gods, all the existences of gods above the star level claim to be gods? The military version of Yin Yang Tao. Some people have said that if you come here to learn Yin Yang Tao, you will be a little closer to your ancestors. It's a pity. I have studied it for a few days and have successfully transformed Yin Yang Tao into the military version. But I still can't feel that I am any closer to my ancestor, but it is true that I am powerful. A new soldier sighed to the veterans around him. You are actually getting closer. The difference between our ancestors and us is actually not too complicated. That is, he is much stronger than us. Now that you are stronger, aren't you a little closer to our ancestors? If you have the chance, if you reach the star level, you might have a chance to meet the ancestor. In other star fields, it is not that simple for an ordinary star-level person to meet a galaxy-level powerhouse. But in the Orion Arm, which lacks talents, this is not the case at all. Every star level has the opportunity to meet Jia Yan, and then get guidance from Jia Yan, and even let them learn the Yin and Yang Tao from Jia Yan in person. Therefore, countless people are looking forward to becoming a stellar powerhouse and then having the opportunity to meet the true form of their ancestor. Of course, the star level is not that simple. In the eyes of most creatures, the star level is no different from the gods. Therefore, many Orion Arm creatures still have imaginations about Jia Yan, and no one really regards themselves as having a stellar foundation. Haha, I really want to hit the star level. After all, I am only 20 years old now and I am already at the star level. Oh? Did you advance to the starry sky level at the age of 20? You do have some talent, but when you reach the starry sky level at this age, do you really think you have a chance to advance to the starry level? Alas, even if there is a chance, you will have to wait until you are promoted to the constant level. I don't even know what year or month it was when it was rated as a star. A veteran looked at the recruit who claimed to be promoted to the starry sky level at the age of 20 with some surprise, and lamented that the recruit was very talented. But it's not surprising. His unit is a unit that has made great achievements in the last battlefield, and the new recruits assigned to it are generally quite good. Yes, the army within Orion's arms has also begun to differentiate. They are more professional and demanding, and their definitions of talent and power have also become different. Anyway, you guys, The veteran was about to continue fighting against these children, but his expression suddenly changed. What happened? Senior, what's wrong with you? The veteran whose expression changed was a being who had reached a high level in the starry sky. At this time, his expression changed, which immediately attracted the attention of other recruits.